We're going to go through how to do the hand coloring now. And this is what the finished product is going to look like. And this is the image that we're starting with in all color. And the first thing that we want to do is make our image black and white. And this is already remembering some of the settings that I had from the last time that I made this black and white, so I don't really need to change anything. But what I had done is I had brightened up the yellows, brightened up the oranges some, just so that this school bus would be a little bit brighter, have a little bit more contrast. And I also darkened the blue in the sky a little bit. I think I'm also going to bring up, yep, there we go, bring up the sign a little bit. So once you have this ready to go and the contrast looks good, then it's just a matter of opening it up into Photoshop. It takes just a minute. If you have Photoshop already open, it happens a little bit faster. Okay, so here's the image, and the first thing that I like to do is create an overall tone for the image. So I like to do a toning for the complete image. So I'm going to come down here to the bottom of the layer palette and click on the Fill Adjustment layer button and go to Hue Saturation. And when I do that, it creates this new Hue Saturation layer adjustment, and it also brings up my hue saturation controls. And the most important part is to check this box for colorize, and then choose a color for what we want the overall tone to look like. And for this, I would just go with a nice warm brown tone, kind of a sepia looking tone, but I'm going to back off the saturation. I like to have my tones to be pretty subtle. Okay, so there's the overall tone. So the next step is to basically create another hue saturation layer for whatever I'm going to color things with. So I'm going to color the school bus. So I click on the layer adjustment button, go to hue saturation, click on colorize, and pick the color that I want for the school bus. And I want it to be a yellow, but not a green yellow. I want it to be a little bit more to the warm side of yellow. So I'm going to say right in there. That looks pretty good. But I don't want it to affect the entire image. I'm just going to paint it on the bus. So I need to hide the color by filling the mask over here with black. And if we look on the bottom of the tool palette, we'll see that the foreground color right now is black and the background color is white. So the quick way to fill an area with either the foreground or background color is Option Delete to fill with the foreground color and Command Delete to fill with the background color. So since my foreground color is black, it'll be Option Delete. And as you can see now, my mask is filled with black. And I'll take the paintbrush, and I need to switch my foreground and background colors, and I can do that just by hitting the X key. So just by hitting the X key, the foreground and background color will switch. But I want it to be white right now, because what I'm going to be doing is painting white onto the mask. Alright, so I would normally be doing this with my pen and tablet, but I'm actually doing it with my mouse right now, just because I'm really just going to do kind of a quick thing here. I'm not going to worry about trying to do a real clean job. This is just to give you what you need to do this. Okay, so the school bus is now painted. One thought that I did have was that maybe I would paint the school bus that's up in front here, but maybe not with quite as intense a yellow that I put on this school bus. So what I could do is I could take this layer adjustment layer and copy it. So I'm going to hold Option and just drag it and move it a little bit, and it creates a copy of that layer. And the reason that I copied it is because I want to start with the same color, and then what I would do is just add the yellow onto this school bus, and rather than having it at the full opacity like this, there are two ways that I could do this. One is I could come up here and lower the saturation for that particular layer, or I could change the opacity. So you can see if I lower the opacity, now this school bus has an even more subtle tint to it than this bus. And since it's on a separate layer, I can hide it and show it and see whether I like it or not. And I'm actually thinking that I don't like it. I don't want to keep it. So I'm going to just turn that layer off. I may change my mind later. And I'm going to come down to the layer adjustment button again, do another hue saturation layer, click on colorize, and this time I'm going to pick a green for the highway sign. And again, I want to hide that color, so I'm going to now black is my background color, so it's Command Delete to fill that, and take my brush and paint green everywhere. And of course, what I would be doing is I would be going in, zooming in a lot closer, so that I can touch this up and make sure that I have the green where I want it, and get rid of it where I don't want it. So to do that, if I hold the Command and Spacebar keys together, I get the zoom tool, and I can just click and draw a diagonal line with my mouse, and it'll zoom in and out. So I'm going to zoom in. You can see where we have green where we don't want it. Use my bracket key, opening bracket key, to make that mouse smaller. And of course, we need to switch to paint black. Okay, so I'm going to paint black to touch up where I don't want that. Hit X, the X key again, to switch my foreground background color. And I pretty much hover my hand over the X key so that I can quickly change my background and foreground color for either painting white on the mask to show the color, or paint black on the mask to hide it. And so that's pretty much the whole thing. And when I'm finished, I will have something that looks like that. All right, and that's all there is to it.